Well, hello. Doing another live stream, another day, another live stream out at one of my client properties here. This is one of the larger properties that I mow each week. I've had this client for about 3 years or so. Um, I usually mow this one with a 36-inch turf tracer. Uh, I'm not doing that today. I'm using the 21-inch battery mower to do it. I haven't actually brought out the 36-inch turf tracer on this property yet this year. It's been pretty wet, some drainage issues and stuff. So I've been just using the 21-inch, even though this property is much larger than you would want to use a 21-inch for. So it's going to take me quite a bit. But didn't want to cause any damage with the extra weight of the bigger machine. So just going to turn the camera around, get out there and start with the trim. Put it on the ultra wide. Get my little phone holder back around my neck, kind of POV style. And grab my safety glasses, get those on. Make sure I got my keys. And I'm going to grab some gloves. So I am expecting the mower to need quite a bit of the bag being emptied quite a bit on this one. Like I said, this is a property that I would normally use a much bigger mower on, but we're going to do it with a 21 today. The front yard is it's a good size. Backyard is pretty big too. You can see I've aerated it. You can see some plugs there starting to dry out. So let me know in the comments if you guys can hear the audio. That the sun is just like beaten down. There's quite a bit of glare on the camera. I'm using the Milwaukee again today. Trying out an 8 amp hour battery on the Milwaukee. Usually I've been using the 12 amp hour ones, so I wanted to see how many lawns I could do with one of these 8 amp hour Forge batteries. So what are we at here? We're only at 1 bar left, so I might have to swap that out actually. What have I done today with it? I have done so far 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I've done 7 lawns with this, and there's 1 bar left. But you know what? I'm going to swap this out because this lawn is bigger, and I don't want to have to do the walk of shame to come back for another battery. So I'm just going to preemptively swap it out. So got another one here. This one's fully charged. If you guys have any questions, just put them in the comments or in the live chat. This lawn, unfortunately, around that bottom edge there, where the road is, it's gotten some damage. The cars parking on it. Has been a lot of construction next door, a lot of contractors all last year. Lots of cars on the road, and it was always a pain when I came. People parked. It's one of those There are those streets where the curb isn't like a big prominent curb, it's like a gradual curb, so people would constantly be kind of like partly parked on the lawn, just kind of just over creeping over the curb. So that would always cause, on those soft conditions. Now technically I could have probably brought the bigger mower out this week, because we didn't have rain all of last week, and we have not had rain yet this week. Although actually we did have some rain on the weekend. This Japanese maple is just getting huge. So it makes it difficult to trim under it, because of course you can't see it. Can't see what I'm doing. It's so thick, the tree. All the foliage. Actually, the line used to go all the way up to the tree trunk there, and this is a client that they sometimes have their own gardener who just doesn't mow the lawns. So I had requested that they remove the lawn under the tree, and she did kind of cut a garden bed out of it, but I was hoping he would have done more to fully expose kind of the crown of the tree to make it easier to mow around it. You can kind of see it there in the background. I'll pan the camera in a second. Just gotta watch out for this sprinkler head as well. Because, or water shut off, I guess it is. You can see there how much of the crown there is overhanging the part that they trimmed. And then I'm going to edge this part. So yeah, I can't really do any edging in that bed under there, because while they cut it, it's just not exposed enough and visible enough for me to like string trim edge it or to stick edge it. Trim this from the grass side. I prefer trimming from the concrete side. Sometimes you got to do it from the grass side. So I will do what I can here. I used the Milwaukee blade edger here last week. So just kind of redefining those edges. Should have gave myself a bit more of a berth when I parked the truck. Yeah, that'll do. Not too bad. This lawn is, besides being really big, like here you can see another like damage here, a tire track from when all this work next door was done. Somebody cut the corner of the lawn. This neighborhood is all on a hill, pretty big hill. So besides these lawns being bigger than what I normally mow, they're all really tiring to do with the slopes and stuff. Constantly walking up and down the driveways and hills and stuff. Let's see, this section here is really bad from vehicles. Ooh, trek up the hill. This one here, they have a really friendly dog that usually comes out to greet me if they're around. So we'll see if that's the case today. I see dog toys. No, the back door is closed, so no dog today. Really friendly golden retriever. But then again, what golden retrievers aren't friendly? Kind of their distinctive breed characteristic, isn't it? Being very friendly. Down a little bit lower. Another sloping hill here. This is not as bad, but they all add up. At the end of the day, it all adds up. And wear and tear on your body. Of course. This backyard used to have a lot of drainage issues as well. But we did have a lot of it addressed over the winter months. I had a company come in and do some new patio and driveway, so they had them fix the drainage as well, dig out and put some drain pipe and stuff in this section here, which is why I don't know if you can tell the lawn is kind of different looking. That little strip there. So it used to be really bad, really soft, even when it wasn't like raining at all. I always have to be so careful mowing there to try not to rut. They replaced this little lawn here too with some sod. You can see it's not doing too well there beside the rocks. It's kind of drying out. All this is brand new, this patio, the driveway. It all looks good. All this big slate. Looks fantastic. Alright, the other thing you're going to have to do is drag the bin out front, because I'm anticipating a lot of A lot of grass clippings today. I'll just take the bin with me. So at least I got it closer. I'll just leave it at the top of the hill there, top of the driveway. We got 2 people watching. Welcome to the live stream. Let me know if you guys can hear the audio. Hopefully that's working. So the front yard is not too bad. I did fertilize it when I did that aeration. Just would have been last week. I think it was Friday. So it hasn't really had a chance yet to. You can just see the mower creeping down the hill. Oh, okay, it looks like it stopped. Don't need to be chasing that down the street. Ooh. Oh, goodness. All right. No questions or comments from anybody. We got 4 people currently watching. Welcome to the live stream. So this lawn, like I said, to those who were joining from the beginning, I got the Crest with a full battery. On this one, I just swapped it out at the last house. Did 7 lawns previously, so that last Crest battery lasted 7 lawns. We're going to start this one. This one is a lawn that's a bit bigger than I would normally mow. This property with the 21, but normally this section here along the road has been horrible in terms of drainage. And we've only had like a week of no rain. So I have been doing all of the first mows of the season on this property, the first month here, with the Crest 21. So I was debating I should bring the 36-inch turf tracer, but I decided that I would just push mow it, knowing I was going to try and do a live stream anyways. That way it gives me a little bit longer live stream. And if I just like whip through it, the bigger mower. I'm on low power on this mower right now, and I'm using high lift blades. Optional high lift blades. So we have a question possibly, I think. I saw it out of the corner of my eyes. Let me just finish this little section. Look at the comment. Let's see. From Brown Eagle, looking good. Love the aeration vid. Wishing I was at work. Sick maintenance guy in Oregon. Oh no. Well, hopefully you get better. Hopefully it's nothing serious. We're finally getting good weather here on the Pacific Northwest, so wish you a speedy recovery. Yeah, this is one of those lawns I should have really brought the bigger mower today, but like I say, I've been doing this one all this season so far. It's only been a month or so. One mow in March and then every week in April so far. So it's been like 3 or 4 mows with the 21 here. Last year I had 3 lawns. I had the one down the street on the corner, down that way. And then I had another one that I would do after this one, up the street and just around the corner. This neighborhood here is all like this style of house, these like bigger properties. And let me tell you, doing just 3 of these properties on the same day, one after another, having to walk these hills, even using the turf tracer, was just exhausting last year. So the one down, or actually the one up the street, they moved, so they canceled service for this year, so then I was down to 2. And the one down the street on the corner that I mowed last year, that one was a nightmare for drainage. That one I had to actually stop mowing early last year. Like I couldn't do any of the October mows because it was like I couldn't even walk on the one. So I kind of was already leaning away from that one. In fact, when I finished mowing that one for the last time, it was like end of September, and I came back in October to do the next mow, and it was like I can't even walk. Never mind put a lawnmower on here. The homeowner happened to come home at the same time, and they agreed that it was going to be too nasty. Said that it's always an issue there for the last 20 years or something that they've lived there. So I already had in my mind that it's not what I wanted to do. So they had is one of the properties that I had that everything's like locked up. So when I show up, I have a key to open the gates to get into the backyard and stuff. So already at that time in October, at the beginning of October, when I kind of decided that, it's not going to be able to finish mowing anymore this year. It's just too soggy and it's only going to get worse here. I was like, oh, and by the way, here, let me give you your key back. I said, I don't want to hold on to it for the winter. But I was already in my head going, I don't really want to do that one anymore. It's a nice house and everything. It's just, and the people were nice. But again, it was too unpredictable with the drainage. That one really has some hills and slopes, and access to the backyard was terrible. For this one, customers are fantastic as well, but this one is it's just wide open. I can bring the navigator if I want. That back lawn and stuff, everything's wide open. Access to it and everything. It's just a matter of waiting for it to dry out a bit. The bottom here and then that backyard section, but they actually fixed that backyard section, so the backyard drainage is now not an issue, which is awesome. It's just the front yard now. So I gotta remember what I'm doing here with this water. Here we go. Water shut off there in the ground. Make sure to look for that. Sometimes you get on autopilot and you're like mowing and just kind of see it at the last minute. Even though I've been doing the lawn for so many years, you just kind of forget, right? So when doing something like a live stream, it's more of an issue. You got to be more aware. So your brain's thinking about 2 different things, right? mowing. I'm thinking about live streaming. I'm looking for comments. So you're kind of doing a bunch of stuff at once. So just want to make sure. Sometimes it's kind of like if any of you guys have heard my podcast when I do like truck talk podcasts and I actually do the podcast while I'm driving to one of the client properties. It's kind of like that where it's a little bit choppier conversation, choppier train of thought because you got all of the driving and looking at traffic and making sure you're not getting into a car accident stuff going on in your brain. So the podcast is kind of secondary. So when I'm doing this, I make sure that the mowing is first and foremost, which is sometimes not the easiest thing to do when you're doing a live stream. Lots of variables. So not too bad, not too bad. Almost done this front section. Can move on to the backyard. Haven't had to empty the bag out yet. Keep checking for the rear wheel. Oh, yeah. There we go. So seeing some traces of grass there on that rear wheel. It's starting to fill. On this particular mower, the bag doesn't deflate like a traditional gas mower would. So kind of that, when you turn on the high lift blades, you get kind of that inflated balloon look in the bag that shows you, you're bagging. And then as it would fill up and start to clog, the bag kind of loses deflation. This mower, even if the deck is completely full, it keeps turning. It doesn't bog down. And so the bag always stays inflated. And the only way I know that it's full is looking at that rear wheel. It'll start to have the grass clippings stick to that wheel. We're looking at your stripes, parts there you've gone over. And you start to see dropped clippings there as well. So I'm starting to see a little bit of that, some signs, yeah, like right there. I don't know if you can see that. So I just got one or two more stripes here, so I'm just going to finish this off, and then we'll empty out the bag. Oh yeah, for sure, the bag is full. You can tell now with that rear wheel. Right. Ooh, let's take off my glasses so I can see if there's any other questions. But I need to go. Have you been seeing much? Oh, yeah, or would try. It just depends on the lawns. A lot of my lawns here, they have tons of weeds in them. You're in, I think you said Portland, right? Oregon. So there's not really, I say that there isn't weed killers here. There are, but they're banned in a lot of places. So most of the clients I do, actually all of the clients I do don't put anything down for any weeds or weed control. Kind of just do it all naturally through just aerating and fertilizing and overseeding. I don't spray any chemicals myself. I gave up my license So it's not too bad. Not too bad. Not the straightest stripes, but yeah, not too bad there for build-up. A little bit on the front there, but we can move on to the back. Whoa. What are we at for battery here on this new battery? Just down one bar and did one smaller kind of normal sized lawn previous to this one. That's pretty good. On average, you get about 7 to 8 lawns. On one of those batteries. This one's a bit closer too. One of the things with this crest mower this last week was the rubber flap that's supposed to be there broke off. You can see kind of the remnants of it there. That completely broke off. Some of the tire tread is starting to peel away. Right here in the center you can see some chunks missing. Just started falling off. There are chunks of it. I've been using the mower now for about a year and a half, a season and a half. I think I'm going to raise this up a little bit. This back lawn is a bit thicker. Let's try raising it first. Let's see. Just the front. This back lawn's always a lot thicker. The front. Let's see. That looks like it's a bit shaggy. I'm going to trim. Go down lower. Go back down on the front. So essentially I'm going at 2.5 on the rear wheels and 2 inches on the front wheels. Kind of gives me 2.25. That's how I look at it. See, there's another comment in the corner of my eye. I will look at it when I stop to empty the bag. It shouldn't be too long. Lots of challenges here, hills and slopes, poor drainage in general for lawns, which is why I tend to favor doing a lot of stuff with push movers over things like stand-on mowers and stuff. I had that 32-inch stand-on for a few years. I had Smart Stars. That was a good mower, but it wasn't a good mower here. In the end, I ended up just not using it as often just because it was too overbuilt for my taste in terms of weight. Just fantastic if you're somewhere that doesn't have drainage issues or tons of rain like we do here. where you have lots of crews, or maybe you're doing more like commercial parks or stuff like that. For residential, I found it too heavy. And then being a 32, of course, it had those like extra narrow rear wheels, which just exaggerated the problem. So I ended up having to get rid of that. The Turf Tracer is always a great balance for me because they are great on hills and had wider tires than that Stars, so it distributed the weight, and then it was about less than half the weight of the stand-on mower, and that didn't even include my own weight, the operator weight. So it's one of the reasons why I haven't taken the Navigator in this property yet either. Part of that is just weight and drainage. But like I said, they fixed the drainage issue so far in the back lawn, so I might be able to bring the Navigator on this property now for the rest of the season. Once it kind of dries out, as long as we don't get any more rain. Usually we get a few good months at least. So here's the rear wheel again, you can see all the buildup there. So the bag is still inflated, but that rear wheel is saying that the bag is full. So it's not fully full, but it's probably because it's about, see, it kind of stops, not running it on full power. Ooh. All right, let's see. Another comment. It's awesome. I can really imagine that Canada's restrictions on cams would really be a relief and one less headache. Yeah, ironically, I actually, like I said, I gave up my license. It's not it's not entirely true. I just never. Went for my course, did my applicator license, did the final exam, but I learned a lot during that course about chemicals, and what I learned mostly was I didn't want to touch them. Learned about how toxic they actually are, and at the end of the course, they literally had like a lineup where you went to the instructor and he handed you your certificate that you had passed and that you have a applicator license, and I said thanks as I was shaking his hand, but I said thanks, that's great, but with what I learned in this course, I'm never touching that stuff again. And he started laughing and he said, you're not the first person to say that. So it is just one of those things, one of those decisions. I had a experience prior to becoming a lawn care company that when I had my own, just homeowner, doing my own property, I remember, doing what you see every homeowner doing with a bottle of Roundup, just kind of spraying willy-nilly with like sandals on and shorts on a hot summer day, doing everything you're not supposed to be doing. Slight breeze. And ended up in the hospital at 3 o'clock in the morning. My wife had to call an ambulance. I thought I was having a heart attack. So they could figure out what it was. My symptoms subsided eventually over time, over the night that I spent in the hospital. And they just figured it was something to do with the chemicals that I was spraying. I must have ingested it or something. And through that course, and kind of learning how deadly this stuff is. The whole, like, I don't know if it's the same in the US, but how the chemicals have an LD50 number. It kind of gives you a rating that shows, I think it's been a year since I took the course, so I can't remember exactly what it was. Something like in like a lab environment when tested with mice, exposure to like mice to the chemical, that the LD50 number is the number of mice, say like a group of 100, how many out of 100 basically died right away from the exposure. And some people see something that has like a lower LD50 number. This is how it was explained to me, that it has a lower LD50 number, and that they think that that's kind of safe, because obviously less mice died right away. But what the instructor explained is that don't confuse the LD50 number. All the mice exposed in those tests all died because of the exposure. The LD50 number is just showing you how many died instantly. The rest of them died a slow, painful death. So he never sugarcoated it, which I really liked about him. And just kind of like knowing exactly painted what you were getting into if you were going to start spraying chemicals. So from that day forward, I had my license. It was good for 3 years, and then you had to do like a refresher course and take the exam again. I never once used it. Never once sprayed a chemical after that day. And then bans became more normal. A lot of communities, cities banning chemicals. And I guess I just kind of was ahead of the curve on that, just for my own situation. I just figured, you know what, I like coming out, I like mowing people's lawns, especially on a beautiful day, but nobody's lawn is worth me getting sick. That's how I saw it. Gotta empty again. See how fast that builds up. Grass is quite thick. Yeah, so I just figured that nobody's lawn is worth me getting sick. I remember being wheeled out. A couple things from that night. I remember how I felt, obviously. I remember Sorry, I'm just thinking about my process here. I remember the paramedics coming into the house. I remember the first thing the paramedic said was, "Oh, he doesn't look good." And that kind of matched how I was feeling. I remember them putting me on a stretcher, and I was being rolled out my front door along the side of my house. And because I was on my back on the stretcher, I was looking up, and it was like 2, 3 o'clock in the And I remember looking at my kids' bedroom windows and wondering if I was going to see them again. So I remember all that sort of stuff. And then, kind of after putting those puzzle pieces together years later with taking the course and all that stuff, that's what I mean by, for me, nobody's lawn is worth me messing around with poison. I kind of liken it with like an X-ray technician, right? It's perfectly safe for you or me to have an X-ray taken because we're doing it once every few years. It's not something we're doing, but that X-ray technician who's there every day has to go wear the lead shield and has to go hide behind the glass in a different room because being exposed to it on a more frequent basis is could be deadly. So it's kind of the same. A homeowner like me at the time, I got unlucky. I did a bunch of stuff. The conditions were right. Wind, slight breeze, wearing shorts, flip-flops, that sort of thing, sandals. All the things that tell you not to do. And so I got really sick. Some people, those conditions might not be the same, and they'll be able to get, for the times that they do it, nothing might not happen to them. But somebody working is going to have far more chance in them dealing with it on a much more frequent basis. Anyways, that's my that's my take on it. I'll get off my soapbox now. Got the client coming outside, so I have to put you guys on mute if she wants to say hello to me. She went back inside. That ditch again. Height different. At any rate, for all the years since, with my clients that I've got regulars, weekly mowing, doing like regular aerations twice a year, fertilizing, liming, moss control, all that sort of stuff. Moss control is just iron, so not a harmful herbicide. For the most part, the lawns look fantastic for having no chemicals on them. No real broadleaf weeds. Get the occasional one here or there, but it's just pull it out. But for the most part, it looks great. Like there's no chemicals on this lawn at all. And it's been probably about 4 years that I've been mowing it. So now occasionally I've had times where a customer wants to put weed killer on it, and in those cases they do it themselves. They go to Home Depot or whatever and find something. Sometimes they got to go to a neighboring city or town and get it because it's banned in the city that we're in, and they apply it themselves, and there you go. That's one way deal with it. So it's fucking. Yep, that rear wheel is always the tell. A little bit of build up. There was a little bit in the middle, but yeah, because of the aeration. Yeah, yeah, yeah. The aerating cores. I know. That's why I don't mind, because it's almost impossible to get all of the dog poops if you. Yeah, no, it wasn't. There was only one little grouping somewhere over. Yeah, right there. Yeah, right in there, amongst all the what looks like goose poops from the aeration. Yeah. No, it doesn't. They will break down over the weeks as I'm going over it, and they dry out. But yeah, it's looking good though. It's like so green right now, and I fertilized it. Well, the same day I did the aeration. Yeah, so it hasn't quite hit yet. It's still doing pretty good. I don't know if you remember, like last year, some of those days I was like, I was mowing. It was like so tall. So that's coming up. It's the beginning of what I always refer to as hell month, with the amount of growth. Yeah, because that initial hit of that moss control did in March. That's what you're seeing now, the really dark green color. And then that fertilizer that I hit it's got twice the nitrogen that the other one has, so it's really going to start to pop. But yeah, it looks really good. Very nice. A little spot here I'm noticing from when they did the sod that it's kind of drying out by the... Yeah, it might be draining too fast or something. Danielle Stevenson says, whose house is this? That's just one of my client houses. How are we doing for battery here? So, got 2 bars left on that battery. This house is quite large compared to the ones I would normally be doing. Yeah, a lot of the clients that I do, not all of them, but a good majority of them know I do the social media stuff. They know that I test out equipment and work with brands, and this one in particular knows. And they're always asking me what new equipment I have that I'm trying out. So using their lawn all the time as a kind of a test lawn for a lot of this equipment. So I have no issue with doing the live stream, having the camera hanging off my neck on this one, because they know I'm always recording and getting content and stuff. I still will obviously respect their privacy in terms of the conversation there was nothing important. I kind of saw that right from the beginning, but also had the camera down to kind of avoid them being on camera. Not too bad, looks pretty darn good. Fertilizer's really starting to kick in. Looking healthy. Oh, and there's Willow. Hi, Willow. Hello. Come on. Come on. Come on. Come on. She's always so happy. She's like the perfect golden retriever ambassador. Happy girl. I think I'm good. I don't think I left any clumps anywhere. Still check those spots where I was emptying the bag. That's good. Yeah. Man, the lawn is thick. Enjoy your day. That about wraps that one up. Ooh, I can't even see with the sun glare. Anybody still watching? Yeah, there's 3 people watching. That is about it for that one. I definitely will see about bringing a bigger mower next week for this one. It's definitely has dried up enough. Ground is actually pretty hard right now. Let's see along here. Yeah, it was going to about, man, even almost halfway. You can kind of see some of the deep ridges there. Yeah, that it was. It got progressively worse the closer to the curb, but it's pretty good today. Just from 1 week of no rain. I used to do this house too, across the street, until they moved. They went to like a care home type thing, got too elderly to be able to stay at home. Oh, I pull the camera off and flip it around. Boom, there we go. So yeah, that is the mowing live stream for today. If you guys have any other questions, just put them in the chat there. Also, I asked this question yesterday and the live stream didn't get any responses, and that is been looking for other different types of string for the string trimmer to try. I want to try some different things. So I have used primarily I've used some of the Husqvarna titanium in the past. I used for many years the Oregon Gator line. It's actually what I've got some spare line on my 3D printed string trimmer holder that I had on the trimmer there. I've used the Echo Black Diamond for many years. And currently on the Milwaukee trimmer, I'm using some Milwaukee like twist line. Let me know what you guys use. What's your go-to for string trimmer line? You can put it in the chat or put it in the comments after the fact, after the video goes live, so to speak, and let me know what you guys recommend. I've heard of forgot the name of it. I keep hearing about one that keeps popping up, something about like a Vortex or something like that, some brand. I'm not quite sure. But let me know what your favorite string trimmer lines are. I want to look for some other alternatives to try this year just to see. But that's about it. Thanks for joining in on the live stream. I appreciate it. I'll try to have another one for tomorrow, and go from there. See how it goes. Tomorrow, I'm going to be breaking up the day. We're going to see, I might have to do some of the mows, move them to Friday. Gonna see how that works out. Got something I want to basically take off from work early tomorrow. I've got something I want to go do. So yeah, we'll see how that goes. I'll see if I move the bigger lawns or stuff to the Friday. So that might be able to get me a couple live streams actually, because I can do one on tomorrow's lawns and then do another one on the Friday lawns that I'm doing. Otherwise, I'll just maybe do one of the aeration ones again, because I got a couple more houses to finish off with aerations. So that's it for today's live stream, guys. Appreciate you guys tuning in and watching, and catch you again for the next one, possibly tomorrow. So thanks for watching.